Yeah, maybe we should talk about color a lot more.
Listen, one of us would just get in a lot more trouble than the other one is all I'm saying.
Whoa, okay. Now that I hear myself saying that out loud. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Neon Valley Podcast. Episode. The one after the last one. How are you
37?
doing? Dude. No.
If it's right, I want like a gold fucking star because I never say what they are and you always get it wrong.
Yeah, before we get too deep into this, let me just welcome everyone. And if you're new to this, please join that Discord. Join our Neon Valley Patreon. It's r/Neon Valley Pod. We also have
Slinkies.
Oh, I was about to say, I just gave our Reddit as our Patreon.
That's the
my
Reddit,
bad.
yeah.
Yeah, that is the Reddit. The Patreon
He's keeping you on your toes.
It's also Neon Valley Pod. Dude, you made me take the fattest bong rip before we started.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't deny this like it's some kind of fucking
It's
court
recording,
case.
Right?
Yeah, Oh, yeah, no.
Okay. I was like, it's probably worth checking.
Joseph, join all that stuff, you lovely fucking bastards.
Such a great fucking time.
Yeah.
Or else.
Yeah, and let's give a shout out to our lovely patrons, the people over at Patreon who support us. So we are giving a shout out to Gerbils. And next up we have Cleanup. It's our section. It's the Cleanup section. It's just kind of going to be where we go the stuff in the last episode that I may have fucked up or that you may have fucked up.
Fact check. We're fact checking.
Yeah, that's not me segueing because we only have one patron. But thank you, Gerbils. We always appreciate it. I do have something I need to say. Mitchell, this I haven't told you yet because I thought might as well tell you on the podcast.
All right.
I should check it now because now I'm actually worried. I've been recording our audio wrong for the last 2 episodes.
What?
It has actually fucked up Joseph's editing process quite a bit. He's messaged me about it. Very upset.
He gets very cranky very easily.
Well, I mean, when you don't pay someone for labor, they tend to get irritated a little bit. Well, yeah, if they were better at their job. But I accidentally layered our vocals twice, so your vocals came in twice as loud, so there may be some issues. We did our best, all right? We did our best.
Do not hate us that much. You can hate us a little bit, but just not that much. What are you, TikTok comments?
Also, you don't listen to our show.
Whoa, that's not
fine.
Entirely
no,
true.
I tested you before this. You didn't realize I did that, but I was going to bring this up during the podcast. I asked you, I was like, did you listen to our show? And you were like, no, I haven't listened to the last couple. Do you hate us? What's your problem?
No, I like to savor it and then binge them all because that way I forget what we talked about. Otherwise, it's fresh in my mind. I don't get that sense of, Whoa. And I want that sense of.
Okay, this wasn't a topic I had, but I guess it's a good question to bring up. Do you think it's narcissistic to listen to your own podcast?
I don't think so. I think if you're listening because you're like, I am a god, and
my
everything
opinions
I say,
are so funny.
Yes, I need to reinforce my opinions by listening to what I've previously said about my opinions. I feel like I'm usually listening to give myself feedback, right? To think, am I saying too much or does the conversation seem natural? So I will tend to go back and listen. There was a while where I was just listening to them very consistently. I will say having a baby does eat up a little bit of time. Gonna play that card.
Well,
face down.
she should listen to it too. That's another listener.
That's also true.
Technically, you should have twice the listeners coming out of your household. 3 times, but we're not gonna. You know what? It's not important.
Semantics.
That's totally fair, though. Because I've caught myself listening to the podcast at work. Because, like I said, I'll have my Spotify on shuffle, and if I'm listening to another podcast, it'll sometimes put hours on right afterwards.
Oh,
and
nice.
If I'm not in a position to change it immediately, I'm just kind of like, oh, hey, I haven't heard us talk about this in a while. And for me, it's like a time capsule. It's not so much reveling in the jokes we make and enjoying like, oh man, we're so fun. It's more of like, whoa, like this is a moment that we got to spend together. It's like looking through an old like photo album.
Time capsule. Oh yeah, photo album.
I already said time capsule. Yeah, were you making fun of me because I already made a metaphor and I'm making a second metaphor? I'm working on that, okay? No,
I absolutely agree. There's times where it's really taking me back to, again, things like before I knew I had the sleep apnea and everything, and just listening to us talk about like, I might have sleep apnea. It's just funny to see those snapshots in time.
Yeah, especially like holidays, because I listened to our Christmas episode during Christmas because I was fascinated at where we were in our lives during Christmas at the same time a year ago. Not many people have that opportunity. And, you know, I'm sorry, people listening to this might be like, why the fuck? They're talking about listening to themselves. Why the fuck do I get... Yeah, I get it. But it's a weird thing I've never had to experience before. I'm like, whoa, these are little snapshots of our lives. I had a couple topics here today I wanted to bring forth to you.
Topical.
None of which are fascinating.
I'll see about that.
So this all actually stemmed because I was trying to figure out things we could talk about like weeks ago. I'm always sourcing things for us to talk about. You know, like what? And what used to be a common source for things that we could talk about was Twitter. It used to be a thing that I could go to, and if you just went to like the
trending,
yes, the trending or community hub, whatever the fuck it's called, you could find something that's like, all right, this is a good list of things that have happened this week, good conversation topics, you know, that I can bite off of, and we could pretend to be interesting. You know, now Twitter and or X has just become like useless. Like, have you been on it at all? That was kind of what my question was going to lead to.
I've used it a lot less over the past couple months and weeks. I don't know. It just seems like angry people yelling angrier opinions. Like there's not a lot of substance to it.
No, damn near none. Yeah, me and Cam interact a lot on Twitter. And even recently we were like, hey, we should get each other's numbers because messaging on Twitter is dumb. Like that, like I thoroughly hate everything I encounter on Twitter when I'm on it. And I do feel that trap when I go onto it to check like notifications, because sometimes I'll try to check like, oh, did like a song I posted or did something that I did, like how did that get interactions? But I don't try to go on Twitter to like scroll and be on it. And I'm going to call it Twitter. I'm not going to call it X.
No, I refuse to call it X. I don't care.
Yeah, sorry, Elon. Yeah, sorry, Elon. But as if that's not his name. I don't know why I put Elon in quotations, but sorry, Elon.
If that is your real name.
Yeah. I cannot find anything redeeming. Everything I always find now, even when I do find myself enjoying a video, I'll do that thing where I click on it to read the comments because I'm like, oh, well, now what do other people think of this? You know? And then all of the comments are just sponsorships or advertisements or other tweets that are meant to get engagement that have nothing to do.
Clearly a lot of bots. There's a lot of bots on Twitter now.
Which wasn't that Elon's whole thing? What, right? Am I crazy, or wasn't that
Which
his
is
whole
also
point?
funny coming from the guy who's like building electric cars and shit.
Right. Isn't it almost ironic that the bots and the fucking random accounts on there were apparently keeping us safe from the real issue, which was money-hungry, greedy advertising slewing humans? I'd rather have bots.
Capitalism, baby.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's making it something where I'm just not really using it as much anymore.
Super Bowl's this weekend.
Woo!
Woo! Do you want to make some predictions before we talk about the real stuff, which is the halftime show?
Somebody wins the Super Bowl and the other team loses. I'm calling it.
Shut the fuck up, dude. Not since 1783 has a team pulled something like that off. The Jesuits? The Nashville Jesuits?
Versus the Hovas, you about to witness.
No, come on. Come on. We have a podcast here. Do you have any opinion on the game?
Here's the thing. I'm just not excited about either team. It seems like the most boring Super Bowl. And I realize when you're from those cities or you're a fan of those teams, it's like, oh, that's exciting. But
yeah, you probably just pissed a lot of people off.
That's fine. Like, I wanted to see like Bills versus Lions, like something crazy.
I guess the Eagles are getting boring too. No, that's fine. I actually didn't wear this on purpose. I wanted a gray shirt. That's why I wore this.
I will still say the Eagles like green color is one of the coolest shades of green.
It is.
It's like that darker, almost like a matte
quite
kind
forest.
of green.
Yeah, almost emerald. But yeah. It's sick.
Yeah, shit's fire.
I have no personal connection, even though I do have a personal connection. I'm from
I was like,
Philly.
what are you talking about?
I meant in the sense of like, I don't take it personally when my team doesn't make it to the Super Bowl. Like, I have a personal connection to the team, but I don't take it personally when we lose or anything. I'm just kind of like, whatever. I don't care. And my favorite example of that is when me and my family were out watching an Eagles game and we were losing and we were finished our meal. It was like past halftime. We were there for like an hour and a half. We're like, yeah, let's just go back to the house and watch the game. Let's finish it. And as we're walking out, these guys are like on their phones and they're like, see us walking by in Eagles uniforms and they go, Seagulls. Seagulls. And like a couple people around him like chuckled like, oh man. Oh, damn. Got him.
Fucking said it.
And I saw my dad's blood pressure rise like 10 points, a little bit, you know? But for me, I'm just looking around like, what? Like, I'm mad that you find that funny. I'm more upset that you think that that's a good burn. Like, I don't even care.
It's not about that. This is what it's about, right? Is I understand what it's like to be like that level of a fan. And I have an example that includes you. You, Audrey, and
the basketball game?
Went to the UNLV game and like personal connection. Boy, I fund that school, all right? I actually paid tuition into it. And we were super excited when they were up. And then they lost, and Audrey and I were just like, "Oh man, like this sucks." Like it was one of those where like we're not
no, hold on. This is where our stories differ, buddy, because it was not just like, oh, gee whiz, dang it, Willikers, man, we've really tried. No, it was like you guys were throwing shit, and you were cursing, and you were pissed, and you were screaming at the other team and saying like, "Fuck you guys, like this fucking sucked." Fuck this, like, and I kept asking, like, hey, you guys want to go do this after? You were like, I don't fucking care. Like, no, you guys were upset.
See, here's the thing. I was drunk, so I'm like, I'm trying to remember. I was like, that seems a little extreme.
No, again, you weren't fighting me. It's not like you were getting like, what the fuck? Like, but I was like, you guys were upset to a point where I was like, okay, come on. We were having so much fun 20 minutes ago, and now this is like the worst night of your guys' life. But, okay, so go on.
Was it like a playoff game or, because now I'm trying to think, what?
It may have been, but I think more of the fact that it was the first game we had all been to together, and I think it was like, we were so hyped to walk out of this as like a winning team and be like, oh, fuck all of us. It was the first time, like, because I think Adam was there, right? Oh, sorry. Was it Adam?
Yeah, because he's also, even though he is a big sports guy, he's totally like, oh, the team lost. And I'm like, fuck you, you piece of shit. I hate you.
Yeah, because he was almost on my side, but I think as I kept digging in deeper, he just stayed completely like in the middle and then left. He was the first one to like go towards his car. Yeah, like we could have all walked together to our vehicles and he took a different route to his car.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I apologize. I don't mean to interrupt you. It's just I could tell you were going down a path where you were about to say that I was unreasonably like, what the fuck?
Maybe a little unreasonable.
All right, maybe a little bit. But I think you guys were a little bit unreasonably upset about the loss. Because we had such a great time. We had such a good time. Yeah, again, that's the thing is I don't have that connection, so I can't. When I don't feel that emotional roller coaster. Of course, I'm just kind of like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? We were just having a great time. You know what I mean? It's like imagine if you're all at a dinner, like eating food, right? And you're all having a great fucking time just eating. And then everyone but you takes a bite of something and just goes, Ugh. And you're like, what's wrong? And it's like, I don't know, that bite was burnt a little bit. And it's like, what? Wait, hold on. We've been here for an hour. We were having a great time. What do you mean? Like, yeah, no, but I get it though. I get it. I do get it.
But that's the other reason why I was laughing. I could picture both your dad and you in that situation. So there was a lot of factors into that.
Yeah, no, I always know how to keep it together around my dad with that shit because I was like, he takes this shit really seriously. Like he almost fucking punted me into the ground when there was like when we missed a field goal and I was like a year old, and he had to remind himself he had a child in his hand. He was like, "Oh, that's a baby." Oh god. So, I guess this year at the halftime show, we're apparently being treated to the most boring halftime show in the history of halftime shows.
Who's this halftime show?
Have they just given up? Usher, right?
Really?
Yeah. Which, I mean, I don't hate Usher. That's fine. Usher's fine. But like, I feel like I remember a time where it was like excitement for the halftime show. Maybe we were just younger.
I don't know. I think Usher's exciting.
What's he gonna play?
Bro, he could just play "Yeah" and I'd be happy.
Didn't he play? Has not Usher? I need to look up how many times Usher has been in the halftime show because I'm pretty sure they've used him every other year of the halftime show.
Am I just not remembering Super Bowls?
I don't know. Maybe he's never done it. 2011? Wow, only once before. Okay. All right. I'm wrong in this. But that...
Oh, were you thinking that he had done it a bunch of times already?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Oh.
He did do it once before. He did it in 2011. So like I've seen him on that stage before, but
all right, pick your ultimate halftime show. Go. You get to pick 3 artists.
Ooh. All right. You know what? Joseph, cut this down for time. Give me a second to think.
Are you answer? Well, yeah, I guess we shouldn't necessarily pick like just because they're our favorite artists, but who we think could be the best performing.
Yeah, make like the best like quick snippet of something. All right, hear me out. I think it should be The Strokes, right? To itch that rock kind of indie feel, right?
Okay.
But then I think it should feature Kendrick Lamar.
Ooh, okay.
But then DJ'd by Diplo in the background.
Oh, okay.
Which then transitions into a finale by, I feel like, Daft Punk. They come back for their final finale. Like that would just blow everything away.
Okay.
That I think those are not my 4 favorite artists. Some of them are up there, but I think that would be a fucking awesome halftime show.
That would be a pretty good halftime show. Okay, so if I'm building and I'm because immediately I was just gonna go to my favorite artists. I was like, what? Eminem, Jordan Lucas, and Flume. But I was like, no, if I'm building like a halftime show that is well rounded, I'm thinking that the because Eminem has also done Super Bowl before, because he's did a fantastic job. But someone that I want to look up to see if this person has.
I know. Why is it so hard to remember who has been in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I don't think he has. So the rap act would be Lil Wayne.
He's had to have been in the Super Bowl. He's never done a halftime show. I just looked it up,
and it doesn't say anything.
I thought he was in that same one that Eminem featured in, where they had like 4 rappers. Wasn't even 50 Cent in it? He was hanging upside down.
It was Dre, Eminem, and 50.
Oh, okay.
Oh, even people are doing at NFL only one way to do it at Lil Wayne # Super Bowl 2025. Oh, but maybe this is why. This that came out January 1st, YouTube video. Lil Wayne wants to perform for a Super Bowl in New Orleans.
Oh, okay.
So maybe he's like, I want to do it there. Okay, so Lil Wayne DJ'd, like the whole thing DJ'd by Skrillex.
I almost went there, but it felt too obvious. I wanted to pull.
That's okay. It's less obvious, I think, maybe for me. So I'm good with that. If I had to pick a like kind of rock act, this is tough because you know where I kind of want to go. 21 Pilots.
They put on a great interactive show. They
That's
would
what
be
I'm
really
saying.
good for a halftime show.
21 Pilots, Lil Wayne, Skrillex,
Like,
and
I don't think they have the star power of a halftime show, because, you know, halftime shows usually like Mick Jagger from fucking...
right.
you know.
It's like the lead singer of bands. It's usually like in that realm.
Huge. Yeah, 21 Pilots isn't quite... Like, because I think Coldplay did play it that one year, but this is after they've been established for like 20
But
plus
like
years.
21 Pilots opening up for Lil Wayne with Skrillex DJing.
Ooh, like Blurry Face going into a verse of Lil Wayne.
Oh,
okay, that sounds cringy, but awesome at the same time.
Can you like create a remix of that? Because I would love to hear that.
Why do I hate that but love that at the same time?
And then closed out by... Okay, I'm pretty sure... Well, no. Okay, I was going to go Elton John, but I don't know if that is like
hype enough?
Hype enough for the Super Bowl.
Ooh, like Aerosmith, Dream On, and then you bring out Eminem again.
Oh, that is a hell of a... Oh, yeah. Okay. Hashtag Super Bowl, make it happen.
Yeah, dude, we should be hired to make the Super Bowl halftime.
Oh, I would love to watch. That would be such a crazy fucking Super Bowl. Again, Oh, my God.
Yeah, honestly, a Skrillex and Eminem mashup would be insane. I know we've brought Skrillex up before as a mashup artist because it's so easy, but
he's
thinking about
he's so fucking good.
Yeah, because he hasn't done something, unless I'm not thinking of any recent projects, like with like a fast, quick rapper. Because he had, like, back in the day, he did the stuff with like, who was that? Who was the British group? Something underground.
British group. I was gonna say, I do remember like Wild for the Night. Didn't that have with like ASAP Rocky?
Okay, yeah, that did. Yeah, but even that was a little bit more of like a remix, I believe, or not a remix,
but...
it
was a remix, okay.
Not a remix, but it didn't have like a verse from ASAP in it, I don't believe, right?
Oh, actually, I think it did.
Oh, did it?
Yup.
Because all I remember is the fuck being polite. I'm going whip, 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 boom, whip, 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 whip. Wild for the night, wild for the night. I'm going.
I'm pretty sure it did.
I don't think it had a verse, dude.
All right.
Maybe there was a version with a verse.
Oh yeah, because the pistol on that dresser ain't afraid to show it. All exposed if I dress up, riding in that Testarossa.
See, I feel
there's a whole verse. Drunk and disrespectful comment with me, bitches. I don't mean no harm, but you and your friends.
Okay, that sounds familiar.
That's the Skrillex one.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's two verses on that.
You know, it's probably because every time we went to a festival, all they ever played was just the drop,
yeah.
You know, and like there was like festival mixes and stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. Funny enough, we got into DJs because that is something I have written down here. Apparently at this most recent Super Bowl, they were planning on having Tiesto DJ the entire game. Like he was going to start off by doing a pre-show like anthem hype up thing, and then during the breaks he was going to do little like music stops and like while they were in between plays, and he was going to aid in like the halftime show, but he backed out just like a week ago due to a family emergency. And I'm not trying to. I'm not laughing at a family emergency. I'm sure it's a very serious thing. I hope it's serious. But I'm laughing because that is the literal like go-to if you just don't want to tell your job why you're taking off.
It's funny because when you said during the whole game, I thought you meant like when the athletes were playing, and I was gonna say it's funny you mentioned that because shout out Desert Dogs, Las Vegas's pro lacrosse team. Their DJ plays through the whole game and provides commentary like, "Oh, did you see that hit?" Like during the game.
Okay, see that's why I think my theory of him backing out is accurate, because I think like Tiesto's kind of above that, right? Like if Tiesto realized what he was actually doing, like if you're not playing the halftime show at the Super Bowl, they're asking you to DJ a football game, which is so different than being a DJ. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, But I will say it is the Super Bowl and the amount of people watching. Like, if you were a no-name DJ and you were the DJ for the Super Bowl, everyone now knows who you are.
But Tiesto does have like a what's it called? A residency on the Strip, which I assume is why, because it's happening in Vegas this year, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's where that probably crossed over, is because they was like, hey, Tiesto, you're already in Vegas anyway. Why not do it here? You know, like, fuck it, do the Super Bowl. But yeah, no, I 100%, I'm not leaning into the conspiracy here to think that he like is backing out because he didn't want to do it. But the more I was thinking about it, I was like, man, I could understand why you wouldn't want to do it necessarily. Because it's like, yes, it's like good publicity. Yes, it's fun. But if you're at someone at the level of Tiesto, like, what is more publicity? Like, Tiesto already has enough money to like exist for the rest of forever.
I mean, murdering somebody would be more publicity.
True. Well, actually, if we've learned anything from Marcus 50 Cent Fuentes, whatever his last name was, we learned that murdering people is bad, and you will not become famous for that. But we'll talk about that in the next episode. Cortez?
Teaser!
Marcus? What was his last name in the movie, dude? I'm sorry. I know we're not talking about the movie right now, but it's driving me crazy. What was his... Cortez? Marcus?
I'm not going to tell you now.
Phoenix?
It was Marcus Phoenix.
All right. So, okay. Conspiracy theories aside.
And I also like how you say that like it's like an ongoing theory. Like there's multiple groups out there that are like
starting it.
We're gonna prove it.
Yeah, I'm starting it. I guess that actually does kind of lead into our next conversation. I didn't mean it to, but Super Bowl, Chiefs, Kelsey, Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift has apparently sent a cease and desist to a teenager.
Yes, that's tracking the Jets.
You heard about this? You hear about this thing though?
Yep. Yeah, which is weird because it's not hard to find the Jets. They're in New Jersey.
No.
Like they're a literal football team.
I'm so interested that this is... Oh my God.
What are you talking about? The Jet, like, how are you tracking the Jets, like each player individually?
Probably the coach. I would assume is probably like where you would... Because if you're tracking the whole thing, it's the head. The head of the serpent is the most important thing. Or maybe
it's the
owner
so
of the team.
Either multiple players or the entire franchise.
Well, no, I think
tracking the building.
okay,
is the building?
This is where you're getting confused, Mitchell. God damn it! It's the Jets that the Jets are taking. Fucking idiot! It's not. Oh my God! It's the vehicles that the Jets are taking. The team, the Jets, the vehicles in which they're taking. Oh
I thought it was Benny and the Jets.
No, that's the second half of the story. We have to get to that. Okay. Okay. Anyway. Okay, but no.
yes, I know the Taylor Swift's private jet. That was just too fun to not.
All right. What's your actual take on this? I want your actual opinion because I'm curious. She tried to charge him with stalking, but the charges were dropped because he is not technically stalking her. There is no stalking involved, technically. But I don't know. How do you feel about, because it is public information.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's one of those, if he's using like illegal methods, if he's hacking something to gain access to information that isn't just publicly available, then yeah, it's absolutely wrong. And we can even say it's morally wrong to track someone because it's just kind of a weird social thing to do. If this is like, oh, I'm tracking rich people in jets to show how much money or how much they contribute to, polluting the environment, like from an environmentalist point of view. I mean, it's one of those, hey, if you are doing the thing and they are using public means in which to follow you, it kind of goes back to intention.
Yeah.
Depending on the intention. If he's being a creepy stalker, yeah, that's absolutely weird. Again, if it's public information, then maybe don't take a jet.
To play devil's advocate a little bit, because I agree with you. Like that, like almost to a T, I agree with you. But the one angle I can understand is you can't control what people do with that information. Like, if he's making it easier for someone who wouldn't go through all of those efforts to find that information out and then use that for a nefarious reason, is that his fault? Because he is going out of his way to let people know she is at this location at this time. And if there's someone who is like just crazy enough to want to kill someone, or like Taylor Swift or something like that, but not go through doesn't have the technological knowledge to hack, or not hack, but like track ticket sales and like launch patterns over, you know what I mean? Because like, from what I understand, he's not just like Googling where is Taylor Swift and then posting it. Like, he is using a trace of things that take an intensive amount of research to find. So it's like, if someone uses that information that wouldn't have access to it otherwise to then hurt her, is that his fault?
Man, that's a good question. And I feel like I'm sure there is like some law about this, because again, that's interesting, because
I mean, that's kind of the doxing law, right? That's kind of what doxing is. But in a sense, this is public information, so it's not necessarily but doxing is kind of public information. Like, when you post a streamer's address, usually that person's information is technically public because they are an individual who lives.
Is it?
Yeah, dude, Google your name. You'll find your address. It's public information. It's just, if you own a place in America, that's what but having access to that information and it being published to thousands and millions of people who shouldn't know it, that's the separation. You know what I mean? Because I was literally, this is fucked up, but I was able to find where I used to live when I was 10 years old in an address book on a free website that didn't cost anything to find.
Interesting. Again, it's one of those like, the question I guess depends. Like, do I think it's legally wrong or morally wrong? Because I'm sure that there are laws that say to what extent that it is or isn't legal. Morally, yeah, I think it's kind of weird. However, again, if your intent is, no, I'm an environmental activist and I'm collecting all these people's tracking information, I'm tracking all of their jets, so I know how much they are affecting pollution in the world. I mean, that's, I don't know.
It could almost be framed. I thought it could be framed almost more as like an art project. Completely honest. Like, if they wanted to really get away with it, they could almost be like, well, it's a representation of, like you were saying, the elite and like the things they use. Because I believe the guy also tracks like Elon Musk's planes and Bezos and like how active they are with their flight usage and stuff. And like, it's like you said, motive. What's the intent? What's the motive? But motive and intent does kind of get lost when it comes to like what people do with that information. You know, it's like you can't control what someone does. Like Oppenheimer, you know, like, or like Einstein. If someone's intent of splitting the atom was scientific and purely for the nature of like learning what this means, you can't control the intentions of the military now using it as a weapon to fucking kill thousands of millions of people. So it's like, is that their fault? Kind of it's like a moral philosophical question there a little bit. Not saying that this guy's the modern day Oppenheimer or anything like that, but yeah, it raises an interesting question. No doubt.
The more you know.
Okay, I got a couple things here we can wrap this up with. Did you have any topics? I didn't know if you wanted to talk about anything today. No. You know what? I don't think I will. All right, fine. We can end this early then. That's fine. Okay, I don't know if we'll be able to turn this into a conversation. I just thought this is fucking weird. Fortnite added a comedy club. Like an actual like Laugh Factory-esque people doing stand-up while you watch.
Like, I'm guessing this is separate from like when you're playing a match. Like, there's a feature, I'm guessing you go into Fortnite.
Have you opened Fortnite in the last like year or two?
Bro, the last time I played it, they were like, oh, we have the Itachi skin. And I was like, oh, I'm going to re-download Fortnite. I'm gonna buy the Itachi skin. I'm gonna play 3 rounds, and then I'm not playing it again. When did that happen? I know you're googling when that happened.
No, I'm looking up the game selection menu of Fortnite now because it's fucking unbelievable. The amount of shit that's on the screen. It's no longer like, oh, drop into the game.
Bro, the last time I played was June 2022. That's when the Itachi skin dropped. I literally for a second forgot what you had sent me, and I'm like, what are all these different games?
That's the menu in Fortnite. It's kind of become Roblox now, where it's like, oh, you can make your own game types. But yeah, like Comedy Club has become one. And they also, I guess Epic Games bought the company that owns Rock Band, Harmonix, I think it's called. Can't remember. And there's also a melody game in Fortnite now, like a Guitar Hero style game. And then they're also releasing a Guitar Hero controller that's compatible with Fortnite. So that now it's literally becoming Ready Player One. Like you can just, it's every game. Every game will be Fortnite. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm terrified.
It will only be Fortnite. We are them, they are us. We are Fortnite. They are Fortnite.
No, sir. No, thank you.
I think the tipping point for me when it came to Fortnite was the not that I played it. I'm just talking about culturally seeing what was happening with it. The tipping point was when they had their MLK dedication week. Did you see that?
No, I did not know that.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah. Luckily, they didn't make him a playable character. I'll give them that. They didn't make him a skin that you can download. And it's like, oh, let's all shoot MLK. Because that's like, you're just asking for problems, right?
Yeah.
But what they did is they had a ceremony where kids could come in and watch the speech as if it was happening, like in real time, the I Have a Dream speech. And it was supposed to be like a historical thing. Like, oh, it was on, Martin Luther King Day. But that's weird, man. If that's their exposure to that part of history.
I think companies are like, how do we connect to the kids? This is where they're playing. This is where we're going to connect to them.
I guess, yeah. It's like they're almost trying to... It's like if they can intersect it into their lives in any way at all. Where it's like, oh, it's MLK Day. They're going to be learning about this stuff at school. They're going to be... So when they jump on Fortnite, they're going to want to join this thing that teaches them... it's like they're almost trying to manipulate them into connecting it with their everyday life. It's like, yeah, you learned about that at school. Now you come home and you play it on Fortnite. That's fucking weird, man.
I think because we come from a generation where industries were not caring about putting ads in video games. They didn't care about marketing towards
not to this extent. No, they did, but not. They just made Cool Spot.
Yeah, it is entirely, but I mean that's media. Media is there to influence and again, not to say that including MLK is bad.
No,
obviously. No. But it is interesting how it's like there's nothing's just a video game anymore, except Baldur's Gate.
Yeah,
Baldur's Gate's fucking fire.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate is fire. I've been playing more of it. I have gotten deeper in, much deeper. I've slept with Shadowheart and Lizelle. Yes, of course. What? Of course. By the way, Lizelle came on to me hard, dude. Out of nowhere. What the fuck was up with that? Did you get that too? Did she never come on to you?
I think early on, and then I was like, oh no, I'm gonna go hang out with Shadowheart tonight, and then she's like, well, I'm gonna sleep with Astarion, and I was like,
oh no shit. Oh, I should have let that happen. I've been trying to get the companions to hook up with each other, but I can't do it. They won't let them. I want Halson and Lizelle to get together because I feel like that'd be good.
Good balance.
They're horny as fuck.
Apparently. Yeah, House is definitely horny. Apparently, Lizelle and Astarion hooked. They didn't have they were in a relationship afterwards, but there was one night where multiple wanted to hook up with me, and I was like, "Oh no, thank you, please. I'm trying to get to Shadowheart."
Oh, I never had them all at once. I must have separated them out perfectly, where it's I already slept with Shadowheart, and then I slept with Lizelle, and so far they haven't conflicted yet, but I'm assuming they will soon.
What act are you in?
I could technically go to Act 2, but I keep waiting.
There's still so much stuff.
I know, no, believe me, I know that there is, but like I keep holding off because okay, I might be wrong actually. I could be wrong. There could be so much more shit before Act 2 even. Is Act 2 the progression into Moonrise Tower? Is that Act 2? Because I can either go through the underpass into the Moonrise or go through the mountain pass, but it's telling me that if I do it, I must tie up all my loose ends, so I haven't done it yet. Is that Act 2?
So, yeah, that making it to Act 2, beginning Act 2 is going through one of the paths to Moonrise Tower. But I will say this, it's still going to be a while before you get to Moonrise Tower.
Oh, fucking A. Okay, I assumed. But this game gives me anxiety because I can't just go. Because it also did tell me that I am majorly underleveled for that area, and I was just like, oh, okay. But like, I feel like I mean, I know I'm wrong. I feel like there's not much left to do in the first area, but upon saying that, I think I walked like 20 feet in the other direction, and then I got sent on like an hour-long quest. So it's like, okay.
I'll say this: there is a ton in the village area that the goblins have overrun. There's a ton of secrets at the bottom of houses and like hidden areas.
Ooh, okay. So I have looked through some of that area. The Blight Town? Is that what it's called? Blight Village?
Yeah, Blight Town. Mm-hmm. A blighted village. I think that's what it is.
Blight Town is from Dark Souls 2. It's a very it's a very known and hated section, actually, now that I think about it. All right. Hey, anything else you want to say about Baldur's Gate? You've been playing any more Oblivion? Might as well knock that out.
Oh, dude, I've been very heavy into Oblivion.
I haven't played any
very more, heavy into Oblivion. It's so fucking good. It's even better than I remembered it. It's so fucking good.
I've got too many games, man. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. I just need to finish a game. But I've been getting better because I have 2 games right now that I'm just focused on, right? It's Baldur's Gate and Alan Wake 2. And it's nice because they're a perfect balance of Baldur's Gate is like an open world. You can do whatever the fuck you want, go around. Doesn't matter. Alan Wake 2 is a very specific linear story that you're going through. So
God, I hate those.
It's Do you really?
I realized other than like other than like BioShock series, but even then, other than maybe like the last one, your choices can alter how the game ends. I don't like things that, and this might be kind of getting philosophical, I don't like the assumption that things are just decided for us, that we get to pick and influence how things work out. Because when games like, again, like that, where it's just this one linear story, I'm like, okay, so I'm just going through the motions.
I think that games like Alan Wake 2 and certain things like that handle it in a way it's less about making narrative choices and more about helping the character advance through a story. It's like knowing that Frodo needs to get to Mount Doom. How you getting there? You know, so like
Eagles.
Because I'll even say
seagulls.
Because I'll even say it's more about like puzzles and combat.
Oh, I fucking hate puzzles.
You know, so which okay, well that makes sense then.
That was that I've seen a pattern now.
Yeah, that is kind of a narrative focus, or I'm sorry, that is a focus in narrative-driven games because kind of what else are you going to do? Because instead of having choices in the narrative, it's more about, okay, here's the narrative. Now here's a puzzle to get to the next part of that narrative. You know,
yeah.
But it's how games handle them. Like Alan Wake 2 uses kind of like a case file system where you're trying to solve cases while also writing a story, and you're using like places that you're in, and like you can change the landscape by like writing different things in the story, and it'll change what's happening around you, so then you can affect that. So okay, what you don't like Mario? Oh, now I'm just shitting on you.
I was gonna say that's not a platformer. That's an entire different.
But
I was gonna say
linear
a game that it's.
You don't have choices.
Yes, because it's literally a 2D play. Like,
but what why can't the
and
enjoyment?
and that's nostalgic childhood.
Well,
So okay, Gears of War. I love Gears of War.
Okay, there you go. That's the perfect example I was going to give. Actually, was like balance of narrative and gameplay.
Okay.
Because I maybe this is where we'll agree. I hate games that are just cinematic stories, like Uncharted. I don't like Uncharted. Those are games
I
that
don't even
people
think I played it. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, nope.
people love them. They really enjoy them, but it's literally just pressed forward on the mouse or on the controller, hit A every once in a while, and then you could shoot people every now and then, and that's it.
Like if it's gonna be a cinematic game, one of those where you play a character and you have to make a choice and it affects like the butterfly effect? What was the game that we all played at the apartment together? Our first apartment.
Oh no, Until Dawn.
Until Dawn, yeah.
Yeah, the horror game where it's like you all play a different character and you make choices.
And we took turns like controlling the character, but again, you could make a choice, or if you didn't save someone, then something would happen. I like that level of unpredictability. Ways that I've also found that, okay, this is a fun way to play the game, and I think this is what BioShock did really well, especially with Infinite, was you can use a sniper, and you can use multiple weapons, but you can choose to upgrade one weapon more than others, so you can get different game styles out of it. Something kind of similar, Dishonored. It's a pretty linear story. There's not a lot of decisions that you make, but the way you choose to do combat, and that's what I think is, if you're going to use a puzzle, involve it with combat. Like, you can either take out these enemies, or you can go through this complicated array of using the environment to sneakily wipe out everyone. And it's like, all right. So now,
you're not saying a puzzle has to have combat, but that's what you enjoy more.
Yeah, exactly. The ones that like I've enjoyed that use a lot of the puzzles. Like one of the games that I did not like was God of War. And I played like the earlier ones. It wasn't like a later one, but it's so cinematic.
Heavy. You're not talking about the most recent
remake? No, I haven't played any since like I played like the first, whatever one I think was on the 360.
Okay. You know what? I think that you would like the more recent ones better than those, because I agree with you that I don't like those older hack and slash, like it's like story, but then the story gets interrupted by just clunky gameplay. That's then you just watch more cutscenes and you have no decision, and there's just
like when it's like 5 to 7 minute long cutscenes, I'm like, all right, I'd like to play.
Aren't you a fan of Dynasty Warriors though? I'm finding holes in your theory here,
dude,
sir.
I fucking love Dynasty
I think what
Warriors.
you're saying is you just don't like boring linear games. I think is kind of what you're saying. You just don't. Yeah. Okay. So, but that's how everyone feels. Like, because I think you would. Because I've never seen you really play one. But you're not much of a horror game, like enthusiast.
Yeah, and for me, it's I don't. And not even because like I get really scared by them, but games like what was it? What was the one that PewDiePie was playing like early YouTube?
Amnesia.
Games like Amnesia. You're just running from shit the whole time. You're just playing hide and go seek. I think because like. Those things like don't get to me at a fear level, that the whole time I'm like, gotta hide, something's coming, gotta hide.
Can I make an observation? Can I make an observation?
Go for it.
All right. I feel like maybe you don't like role playing as a character that's already been written for you.
Nailed it. 100% nailed it. Yeah.
Because I can understand that. I've more recently been able to kind of dissolve myself into a character like Cyberpunk, because that's an example of like, yes, it's an open world game, but you're still a specific character that you have to kind of dissolve yourself into, otherwise you don't relate to it at all. And yeah, because I feel like I've noticed you're not a really big fan of like the Resident Evil series, or like, and not that you don't like, they're just not games that you prefer playing, like it's
although part of the Resident Evil was like, I hated the fact that you had to stand still to shoot.
Yeah, and that was an early kind of game limitation that they had. But then as it went on, they tried to spin it as like, no, it's because you're scared and you can't move.
And it was just like, I don't know.
It's a game. But you can move now, so that's good. You can.
Oh,
strafe.
nice.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah, they figured it out. No, I love the Resident Evil series. It's one of my favorite. But I think we're learning it's not about linear. It's about shitty linear. And also that's interesting. Yeah, like the whole idea of role playing is something that's already been laid out for you. It's like role playing as Frodo in Lord of the Rings when you already know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, that like wording it like that sounds like, yeah, no.
Right. It just feels like I'm just following the script.
Yeah. Which
maybe it's because I'm a Gemini. I don't know.
Some people, that's what they want, though. They want the comfort of, like, I know where this story's going. Games like Alan Wake 2 do a really good job at balancing your own intuition with the linear story. So it's like you'll be walking through a city street, and technically the city street is completely open and you can go anywhere. But a little neon sign will, like, flicker down one road. And you'll be like, oh, I'm gonna go down there. And it's like, obviously the game is telling you to go down that way, but it kind of tricks you into making you feel like it was your choice to go down that way.
Okay.
Because you saw the flickering sign.
There's no giant yellow arrow that's like, you should go in that direction.
Exactly. It's just like, hey, what's that over there? And it's like, obviously that's what the game is doing. But by doing that, it makes you feel like it was your choice. So it's like, oh, I had agency in this, even though I didn't, you know? And I like the little side things, picking up little side backstories and tapes
kind of
and
like
stuff.
not Easter eggs, but like
basically lore.
What do they fucking call them? But again, it's like in BioShock, like the voxophones and stuff like that.
Yes, collectibles.
Collectibles. That was what you did know what I was thinking of. You lying son of a bitch.
I did. I lied to you. Sorry about that. All right. Yeah. You know what? I thought maybe we would talk about the Oscars a little bit, but I don't really want to. And we've been talking for a while now. Did you have any?
Our conversation was fantastic.
Yeah. Did you have anything else you wanted to bring to the table before we call it a night?
By the time you listen to this, I'll have 2 new songs recorded.
Ooh.
So be on the lookout for some new music.
Oh yeah, dude. Hype to hear that. That's Tsuku, Tsuku, on Spotify.
TSUK, you know who it is.
You got it, but that's confusing. Again, but if you're telling people how to look your name up, it's like, is there a U at the
I
end?
don't. That's not how I want to tell people to look my TSUKU. Socials.
Who it is? It's like you can't help. I thought you. I'm sorry. I thought you were gonna say it again. I thought you were gonna say TSUKU. Who it is, motherfucker. Can't help it.
Like I couldn't help myself.
It's amazing. All right. Before we get out of here,
on TikTok, where we put our most controversial content.
Apparently, we're famous on TikTok. We had one of the top 10 most viewed videos of the week for like an hour or two. I saw it on their website.
Shit.
Yeah.
We're not famous yet? This is bullshit.
Apparently not. No. Sorry, continue your call to action. Tell the people where to go.
Yes. Go to hell. No. Go to reddit.com/Neon Valley Pod. Go to patreon.org /Neon Valley Pod.
Yep.
And then go straight to hell.
Yep. All the links are in the description. If because most of those weren't right, I don't think they were. It's mostly Neon Valley Pod. So you know, you were there.
Thanks everybody.
Thanks everyone. Joseph, do a little jig. Do a little jig.
The Joseph jig.
Oh, whoa. Hey, that's pretty good. All right, Joseph, tone it down a little bit. Joseph, this is YouTube. Hold on.
Joseph.